Yo, yo, yo. Conference finals time. We've made it to the third round. We're halfway there. Western Conference Finals game 1 tonight. We're going to break down the Eastern Conference Finals as well. Come sit down, watch the game with us. Let's talk about it. It's time to talk some puck. Let's get at it.
Let's go! This ain't the puck night, or this game can heat stink!
Oh, shit!
It's gone!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sensudi, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What up?
And the broken one himself, Rob Povia.
Yo, we gonna do this, or are we gonna keep chit-chatting like this is your mama's book club?
And
Yeah, I wrote that before the show, and I never knew how fitting it would actually be for when we went live. And anyway, go on.
Yeah. And tonight, as always, we are brought to you by Manscaped. You get 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code at A2D at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Because, Bri, what do the ladies not like?
Junk funk.
Yeah, so do them and yourself a favor. Get rid of it. No more junk funk. Feel confident. And upgrade your life. Simple as that. Manscaped. All right. Gentlemen, tonight we begin our journey through the conference finals after having what was a interesting first round and then an even more interesting second round. We've now come down to the final four teams of each respective conference. And some teams we didn't expect to be here. Some teams we did. And now we got our first one tonight between Edmonton and Colorado, which is currently tied at 1-1 with a weird exchange of goals there. But we're going to be talking about them, and we're going to be breaking down the second round and what happened in that second round matchups to find out how we came to this. And tonight, the poll question, which is, as always, brought to you by none other than BetUS, which is one of the leading sportsbook online, and you can bet anywhere on anything. And they've been in the market for over 25 years, and you can use that code that you see right down there to get yourself 125% sign-up bonus. So definitely check out BetUS. Make yourself a little bit of that extra cash because hockey's always a fun sport to bet on. And the poll question for tonight, gentlemen, is the Oilers will start a new dynasty this year. Agree or disagree? Gentlemen, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Well, I'm gonna heavily disagree on this one. I think by sheer luck they have gotten as far as they have. Calgary was deep enough to beat this team. McDavid and Draisaitl is all I have to say is the main reason why these guys have gotten as far as they have. 65 points in the first 12 games, in the 12 games that they've played, is fucking ridiculous. 12 games, these guys have 65 points combined. It's ridiculous. These two are legitimately carrying this team through the playoffs. I'm sorry. Mike Smith sucks. And yeah, he's been locked in since game 2 of the semifinals. He's been absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to give him his due credit. He's been locked in, but he sucks. He's getting lucky that, Edmonton has been blowing Calgary out. And that's why they've gotten as far as they did. They got lucky in round one facing an inexperienced Kings team. They got lucky against Calgary, and now they got a real test in Colorado. Colorado can answer right away, just like they did tonight after that goal by Evander Kane. So I strongly disagree. This team is not getting to the Stanley Cup final. They are not starting a new dynasty because they still don't have the depth outside of that first, maybe second line to really be a dynasty team.
All right, then. Robbie, what do you feel?
Well, I'm going to double disagree here. I disagree with the poll, and I disagree with Brian, too, in the same boat. And here we go. Ding, ding. No, I agree with your main point, Brian, but I think the difference maker's actually been Evander Kane. I mean, it's hard to argue against the points. I get that, but I think it's Kane that's what put them over the top this year with having that physicality on that line, or even if they're broken up, just having that type of grit in the playoffs has changed this team from that regular season boomer to buster in the playoffs to a team that can go a little deeper. But in that same breath, Maddie, I'm disagreeing with the poll that this isn't something that's going to be long lasting. They put together something that's working right now. Evander Kane, he's 30 years old, and he's bound to get into some more trouble in his career. You know that's going to happen. But where I'll agree with Brian is that the same problems still exist for this Edmonton club. Shoddy D at times and goaltending, but they put a real nice Band-Aid on for this run this year. So I like their chances against an Avalanche team. We'll get into predictions later in the show, but they'll definitely be competitive with the way they're rolling right now. But there's some holes in this team where this isn't your Mark Messier Oilers, who, speaking of which, Messier must be in Hulk heaven right now, having the Oilers and Rangers both in the respective conference finals.
Yeah.
No, if only Vancouver was there too.
Right.
But like to build off of what you were saying, like Evander Kane's only one guy, and he's only going to be here for a year. So I mean, maybe somebody sees what he's doing and they take a risk on him. Maybe Edmonton does re-sign him. But to your point, he's 30 years old. Yeah, is he carrying the team? Yeah, but he's also part of that first line. So if you take McDavid or Draisaitl out of that equation, I don't think Evander Kane is that putting up the goals that he's putting up.
But they've had that before, and they haven't been able to perform. I think when you have a guy on the ice with you, it allows you to get your game on fully and not be hung up in the grit of the game. It's just my point.
No, I totally agree. I don't disagree with your assessment of Evander Kane, but
right.
You put him on a line with McDavid or Draisaitl, I don't care who you are. You're going to be putting up some goals.
Yeah, that's true. No lies. No lies. All facts.
So, interesting enough,
we better days.
The fam chiming in. Dylan saying, "Yo, what's going on, boys? Disappointed in the Flames because Markstrom forgot how to play goalie, or else it would be the Flames losing in 5." Or I think he meant the Oilers there. Disagree to the poll. Obviously, a tough loss for Dylan. It's never fun to lose to one of your most hated rival in the playoffs. Unfortunately, me and Rob and Bri, we all know a thing or two about that, losing to one of your most hated rivals in the playoffs. It's not a good.
And that's one of my biggest surprises, how quickly that series wrapped up, and Markstrom's play towards the second half of that shorter series. I thought, like, we were on these airwaves last week this time, and I was saying that I was confident Oilers would win, but that Calgary would come home, take that game, and then potentially win a tough game 6 in Edmonton, descended to 7. We got none of that. And that was a big surprise for the Flames. And, yeah, I guess the finger has to be pointed towards Markstrom.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. Good God. This Avalanche team, man, they just shit on goalies whenever they fucking feel like it. Good Lord.
I said, Mike Smith sucks. Michael Layton 2.0.
although with a slight bit more longevity, apparently. Layton was all of about 1 year.
Just.
But in terms of the run this year, though, I think that's the Brian's truth, right?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why are you going for the poke check on one of the best players in the league? You
Yeah,
left your 5-hole wide fucking open for him.
Yeah, McKinnon's gonna easily. Yeah, that was a mistake on his
He
part.
left his legs more wide open than a cheap hooker.
And he didn't even need to pay. He didn't need to pay to score on that. There you go.
Oh my
All
goodness.
right. Dylan saying no, Flames losing 5 to the Avs in the conference final. That's what he meant. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then he said the Flames would have won in 7 like you were pointing to, Rob. By the way, Don Don's here. He says, "What's up, losers?" What's up, Don Don? And then
What a
Greg's
power move.
saying, "What's up, fellas?" He also goes on to say, "Fuck the Rangers and their fake ass fans."
Greg was on the show last week. We appreciate it. Love you, Greg.
Love you,
Of
Greg.
course. Jake saying, "What up, fellas? I'm going to disagree with the poll, but the Oilers have a very bright future." Yeah.
Yeah, you can check Jake out on Fan Friday every Friday night. Does a great job over there.
But do they? Is
They
it
do.
bright future? The
Oh,
clock's
the bright
ticking.
future.
I mean, your team always got a bright future when you have McJesus on your team. You know what I mean? And he's still a young man. You know what I mean? You know, kind of like Kays and Tane. Kays and Tane. Taze and Kane. You know what I mean? Guys that could, sort of just, continue to exude excellence between, roster ships of, good and bad teams.
All right. Let's see. We got Bryce, who was saying what's up, and he also went on to say Rangers, wow, Hurricanes choke. And McDavid is a beast, and he did also say hopefully the Flyers rebuild, go young, blow it up. And then he says Peter J. Anapol says stranger things have happened. What's up, Pete? What's going on, man?
Petey caught the beginning of the show, the reference. Nice. Well done. Well done, Peter.
And then Wolf of Odin and Philly Wolf 90 saying Flyers fan for life, but let's go Avalanche. Will always be a Colorado native. So hey, what's going on, man? Welcome. And we'll see if the Avalanche have what it takes to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since they won the Cup last in 2001. Yes, it's been that long. He says, question. I know they talk about how special the 2023 draft class will be and McDavid or Crosby player types.
Yes.
Yeah.
One specifically.
Shane Wright obviously is one of the big
2023,
highlights.
not this one.
Oh, no, 2023. That's right.
Connor Bedard.
Bedard, yes. Bedard.
Connor Bedard is your game changer. He's your franchise changer. He's going to be better than Shane Wright. And then there's another Russian kid coming out of there. I forget the kid's name. Michev, I think his last name is. He's going to be another high-scoring Ovechkin type of player. He's going to be a special player and a franchise changer as well.
What'll be interesting is that despite it being a year before, still Shane Wright and Bedard will be, kind of like that OV and Crosby. You know what I mean? You're drafted relatively in the same ballpark. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be exactly the same.
And let's see here. Eileen saying, good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing? I'm fine, Eileen. How are you?
Could be better.
Let's see here.
Dylan.
Could be worse.
That's true.
Dylan saying, plus Coleman's goal wasn't a kicking motion. Refs had to help the NHL golden child. Ah, yes. The controversial goal that will remain controversial for the rest of our existence after that call. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into the reactions. I'm fucking pissed that Brindy and the Canes got knocked out of the water. Fuck the Rangers. And then apparently the Flames were already scouting Jerome McGinley's son, Tej McGinley, who plays for the Seattle Thunderbirds. Interesting. We'll see if lightning strikes twice. Sometimes it doesn't with players, but sometimes it does. All right, gentlemen. So on to our first topic, our first period topic, which is going through our conference final previews and predictions, basically. And that is brought to you by, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, or you have a change of career and brokerage, you want to go to Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC. You can give them a call at 302-682-8820. Visit them at allen.foy at exprealty.com. It's a big step in life when you're changing homes, so do it right. Go to Allen Foy because you don't want to screw up that. You really don't, especially in the market we're in right now. Get it right. All right, then. So, gentlemen, Western Conference Finals. It's currently going on right now. It's 2-1 Colorado after the Nathan McKinnon goal from basically like Bryce said, Mike Smith imitating a cheap hooker. Gents, who do you see winning this? Do you see Edmonton continuing this, I guess we could call it an unprecedented run from them, as they've gotten into the third round finally after all this time to try to get back into the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 2006 when they, again, went on a very shocking run and lost, or Colorado, who haven't been to the finals since they last won the Cup in 2001. Who do you think gets here?
For me, I mean, I know Edmonton's been playing strong hockey, putting up goals, getting solid, adequate defense for a change and solid goaltending. But I still got to go with Colorado. It's been my pick all along. I thought they were finally going to get their monkey off their proverbial back in this playoffs, possibly hoisting the cup. And I just think Colorado's too complete of a team. And the compete there for them has finally come playoff time. That's been the key thing, Maddie. That's been the key thing, Brian, is that this team has always been that strong. It's kind of two similar teams if you think about it in that respect, where strong powerhouses in the regular season fall short in the playoffs. Well, you're just seeing Colorado play with a strong compete, a strong hunger, and a strong infusion of young players, like to your point, Brian, Alex Newhook coming up and having, being a difference maker in the run at this point and having a fine play earlier this evening. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. McDavid could win this series easily, single-handedly, and just take it over. I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I said earlier that they would be in a position to compete in this series. But I'm going to go with the Avs. I think they win this series. And, before we get a result tonight, I'm going to throw it out there. I was going to save this for the shootout, but the game might be over by then. And then it's like, well, it's really easy to pick Colorado in 6 because they won tonight, potentially. So, but I'm going to say it now on the record, Colorado in 6.
I don't even think it gets a 6. I think Colorado is going to smoke the Edmonton Oilers because, like I said, once you get past this first line, there's not much going on with this Edmonton Oilers team. I mean, you got Evander Kane leading the team in 12 goals. You got Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid leading the team in points. Actually, they're both tied, and it wasn't quite 65 points between the two. I think it's more like 52, but even still, that's a stupid number.
That's stupid.
12 games.
Yeah.
These guys are averaging almost 2.5 points a goddamn game. This Edmonton team can't compete. They can't hang. They won't be able to. Not only is Colorado faster, they're deeper. They, like to Rob's point, they are more complete. And I think they have the better goaltender. Darcy Kemper is not going to be the type of goaltender that's going to light the world on fire. But with a good defensive run, he's going to be better than Mike Smith. Mike Smith is going to get just absolutely shellacked in this round. He's going to get brought down to earth real hard and realize, hey, I'm 40 years old. It's time for me to retire. I just got my ass kicked by a team that's way younger than I am.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers just scored.
Kidding me?
Yeah. Just because you said that, the Oilers had to score.
They said, fuck your couch, Brian. That's what they said. They said, fuck your couch. Watch this goal.
Particularly Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman, too, has been very effective.
Well, I got the wrap it up box, but Colorado in 5.
All right. So, 2-2 in game 1 between Colorado and Edmonton. Zach Hyman on the porch there, and he winds up getting to a loose
that's going
puck.
to be Connor McDavid.
Is it going to be McDavid?
It's going to be
it bounced off of.
I don't know who is out in front, but I think that's going to be McDavid's goal.
One goal don't change. One goal don't change the prognosis, brother.
No. It is just funny how Bryce just shitting on him, and then and there we go. The response with 13 seconds left. Colorado just says, "Ha ha ha! You guys think you're tying this game up? Fuck off!" And they go ahead and score.
So 13 seconds left in the period, and also that couldn't have been far removed between the goals themselves.
I think it was like 2 or 3 seconds removed from that goal. So honestly, it might have been one of the quickest turnarounds.
Probably like 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's like, what
the goal scoring that's going down on the western side of the Stanley Cup tournament. Mud on.
Ooh, they're gonna challenge that.
Offsides. Oh boy. So that one might come back.
You get that a lot when you're trying to get that buzzer beater. A lot of times you cheat that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see here. In the meantime,
Chichkin's reaction and his body language there, he was offsides.
Let's see here. I'm seeing that side replay.
Yep, it's off. It's off. It's coming back.
Oh, yeah. That puck's well over the line, and he's over the line. Yeah, that's offsides. Goal is coming back. So never mind, folks. False alarm. So there we have that.
You're right, Don. He does suck.
Who?
Mike Smith.
Don, get rid of Smith. He fucking sucks. And he went on to say, "Are you kidding me?" And oh god. But anyway, let's see here. Dylan saying Calgary's own Cal McCarr. Did not know he's from Calgary, so there you go. And then let's see. Brian's boy Josh Manson just let him sneak behind him. Yeah, Manson didn't have the best start of the night. He let Evander Kane sneak right by him, which led to that first goal from Edmonton. But it's all right. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? Just ask Edmonton.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I still want to go back to that other goal before, because I'm pretty sure that's McDavid's goal. I know it went in off of Manson, but I don't know if Hyman got a touch on it.
I don't know, but they're really giving this a deep look. They must really be wondering if that skate blade touched that blue line, but it should still be offsides.
Yeah, well, you still got that, where it's the hovering. You know what I mean? Where the skate doesn't have to be on the ice now, so they have to question, did it break the plane?
Oh, we got a good goal. We got a good goal. So the skate was on the blue line, and Woodcroft is fucking pissed, and I don't blame him. Because that's a big one.
Plus, a big thing is they're on the networks, they're always going to show their angle. As much as it's down the line, it's always just a bit askew. Whereas in Toronto, they got the cam boards where it's straight down the line. You can look up, and as long as that skate blade, if it doesn't break the plane of the inner line of the blue line, you're on sides. I think that was a fabulous rule change, by the way. I always thought about that because if you think about it in other sports, that translates. You know what I mean? That you could see. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It's like I always thought. Well, in football, you got to get 2 feet down in bounds. And if you're touching the line at all, you're out, right? But anything that if you think about the nature of this game, hockey, if that black puck crosses the goal line in the air. And there's any sort of distance between that, it's a good goal. So it's sort of along that same premise, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You don't have to physically touch the line in the goal with the puck for it to count, and then you also don't physically have to touch the blue line with your skate for you to be back on sides. I know what you're going with. Yeah.
I was waiting for my wrap it up B box right there.
And Emilio's saying Mike Smith has to be 51 years old, practically in hockey terms. Dylan saying refs fucked Edmonton after that Coleman goal. Don's response was unbelievable. How? And this is fucking rigged. Don, do you have money on Edmonton? I'm just wondering. And then he said, I am leaving. I'm not watching this. Yeah, he's got money. He's got money on Edmonton. That's what it is.
The money line was too hard to pass up.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Let's see here. Dylan saying karma. I think that's the best way to describe that one. Karma.
Yeah.
Hey, Swoopy's here.
What's up, Swoopy? I think Robbie, you got a point there. I think with the rule change, and I think he may have gotten the blade onto the blue line, but that's a very, very close call.
It
Like
is.
very close. I was like almost 100% certain I was coming back for offsides.
Right.
But you know,
So
I'm
I-
usually wrong about everything, so whatever.
Well, I'm just theorizing. I didn't see the play. I'll be honest. I'm in the other room right now.
But to be fair, I mean, by the fam standards, you're wrong about everything. By the fam's standards.
Yeah, in our book,
But
in
no,
our books, you're spot on, dude.
Yeah.
I have a comeback for that, but I'm not going to say it.
You forgot more about hockey than I know.
That could be true.
It's Swoopy saying Colorado better win it all. Everybody that's left I dislike besides them. Whoa. All right, so, gents, the end of the first period, 3-2 Edmonton, or 3-2 Colorado. 3-2 Colorado off of a very, very late goal from Nichushkin and a controversial call that will remain controversial, just like the no goal from Coleman. But now we talk about the Eastern Conference. Oh, actually, let's give predictions on the West. If I forgot. You guys were saying, I forgot to give my prediction, that's why. So, Rob, you were going with, as a quick reminder, who again?
I said Colorado in 6. Brian said Colorado in 5. Yeah, all I recall is that it was going to be a steamroll job, smoke show. Freaking bury them, in less than 5 and less than 6. So you're going with 5?
I was going to go clean sweep until Hyman decided he was like, fuck this idiot. So now I'm going to go 5, just to make Hyman happy.
All right.
What say
So,
you, Maddie?
I'm going to say, well, before that, I'm going to give both perspectives. So if this is going to go Edmonton's way, I think they'll have to win it in 7. I don't think that they could win it in any other way but 7. If this goes Edmonton's way, which means that Edmonton is staying one step ahead in terms of goal scoring. And there's going to be a lot of goals then because Mike Smith gives up a lot of goals. And so that would mean that Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Kane, and everyone is playing out of their fucking minds again like they did it against Calgary and managed to stay one step ahead of Colorado. But that will have to be a 7-game series to do it. As for Colorado, I would say in 5. If Colorado's doing their job and taking care of business, I think they can win it in 5. I think Edmonton can win a game in their building, but I think it would be a victory for Colorado in 5 if it's going in those directions. And to choose what way I think it will go, I think it will go Colorado in 5. And the reason why is because Edmonton gives up way too many goals. And while, yes, they're keeping one step ahead in this game, are they going to do it in game 2? Are they going to do it in game 3? Are they going to do it in game 4? I highly doubt it. You can't just keep giving up goals willy-nilly and then pretend that it's not going to come back and bite you in the ass. They were giving up a shit ton of goals against Calgary. And giving up goals against LA. So, again, through both rounds that they've been through so far, they've been giving up a shit ton of goals. Defense has left both Smith out to dry, and Smith has fucked himself in the ass plenty of times by just being terrible. So the point is that at some point it's going to bite you in the ass. You can't keep doing this and expect to win every single round. If it's not this round, then it has to be the Cup final. So I would say that Colorado's probably going to be the team that's going to say, okay, that's enough. You guys give up like 6 goals a game. You're not going to be able to beat us that way, So I think Colorado will take advantage of that. As LA, they're still a team under construction, so it's a little bit of a different ball game with them. Calgary likes to do the same thing Edmonton does, give up a shit ton of goals. So there you go. And so Edmonton was able to take advantage of that. This one, different story. I would say that Colorado will be able to calm things down, buckle down, and stop giving up bad goals, as opposed to a couple of other teams that they were facing off with. So that's where I believe that will come into play, and Colorado wins that series in 5.
Also, I think Colorado's got more of a physical edge. I mean, yeah, they have Jack Cassian in Edmonton, and they have Evander Kane and some guys that can play physical, but I think Colorado can play a physical game as well, and they have a ton of speed, and I just don't think Edmonton's going to be able to match them, especially outside of that first line, especially with, I think Colorado has, the home ice advantage, and they have last change, so they can match up McKinnon with anybody. So, I mean, I think that's going to play a huge factor too. And Colorado's the best transitional team in hockey. Again, I'm going to beat this like a dead goddamn horse all night. Outside of that first line, Edmonton has nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Zach Hyman's he's an above average player, but he's nothing special. You shut down McDavid, you shut down Draisaitl, and you shut down Kane. This team is done. They have nothing else. Puya Harvey's a good player, but he's nothing special. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is finally starting to break out of a slump. Let's see
I was
what
going
they
to say,
bring to the table.
Hopkins been playing well.
Mhm.
Yamamoto's been pretty MIA for the most part.
Well, he took that nasty hit, man, up high. I don't
Yeah.
think he's been quite right since.
Yeah, I agree.
But
So,
yeah, I mean, I just don't think I don't think they're going to be able to hang with Colorado. I think, especially now, like Colorado's going to make some adjustments at the intermission. I'm sure Edmonton is too, but Colorado's had a couple extra days rest. They kicked the rust off. They got 3 goals in that first period. That's not going to be the end of it. They're going to bury them tonight.
all right. So we got Dylan saying, I have Colorado in 6, Rangers in 7. His reasoning for the 6 is that the refs might help Edmonton win 2 games. They love McDavid. I don't know. They might hate McDavid after that last call saying that was a good goal, but okay.
I mean, I just saw in my mind clearly that happening, man, and that they take a game on the road, they take one, they get their home game wins, or at least one in that series. But I just saw it ending in 6th, ending in Edmonton, continuing the pain that is being an Oiler fan. Because I mean, the Avs are a team that travel well and can clearly do that on the road to win a series.
Unlike
you're not wrong.
Carolina, which led to their demise.
That's true. Speaking of that, great segue into the Eastern Conference Finals. So after getting a big victory in Game 7 yesterday, the New York Rangers punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's their first time being there since they last won it in 2014 when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost to the Los Angeles Kings. God, that was a nice moment.
2015.
2015? I thought that was 2014 that the Kings last won their cup.
Are you talking about Rangers Kings was the final?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought they had said 2015 on TV the other night, but maybe they got it wrong.
2015. I think it was they won it in 2012 and 2015.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because they beat the Devils one year and they beat the Rangers the next year. I think it was 2012 and 2015, or 2013 and 2015. No, it was 2012 and 2015.
Here, hold on. Let me see here. 2014 Stanley Cup Final.
Maddie's questioning this because I never remember dates and times of things that happened. I'm too old to remember that shit.
2014 Stanley Cup Finals. The Western Conference champion Los Angeles Kings defeated the Eastern Conference champion New York Rangers.
Whatever. Like I said, wrong about everything.
I was just confused because I always swore that it was the pattern. Blackhawks, Kings, Blackhawks, Kings, Blackhawks. Because Blackhawks finished that out with that 2015 Cup against Tampa when Tampa got into the final.
Okay.
The only reason I remember that is because we were covering it at that point, and it sticks with you.
Let me see if ESPN did get this wrong then, because they clearly said 2015 last night. But were they referencing? Did the Rangers have another run the following year in that year's playoffs?
They may have. They may have gotten into the Eastern Conference Finals in 2015 and lost to Tampa. May have possibly.
Yeah, they were. I mean, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was because they had like mad comebacks in series, and I remember them capping off one to get to the Eastern Conference Finals to play Tampa, and I'm like, oh, isn't that ironic? Because that's what's going down this year. But I thought that was the year that they went on to meet the Kings in the Cup, so I was assuming that. There we go.
No, but
ESPN's good. It was my error yet again.
No.
I'm wrong right with you, Brian.
It's
Don't
all right.
give ESPN any credit.
I was wrong about that being 2014 being the last time they were in it. either way, 2015, last time they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, they did lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Lightning did go on to lose the Stanley Cup Finals that year. But all the same, back in the Eastern Conference Finals, the New York Rangers are.
Right. Well, things are right in the world again. My old ass is wrong about dates, so we're good. We're good. We're good.
And then their opponent, none other than the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, trying to make the three-peat a reality for the first time since the New York Islanders did it back in 1983 when they had won their third straight Stanley Cup. Or, sorry, 1982 would have been the third straight Stanley Cup that time. But all the same, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're here. They've managed to get out of the first round against Toronto, making us all laugh at Toronto a little bit more. And then they sweep the Florida Panthers. Panthers never really got into the series again. And now they're here in the Eastern Conference Finals. I can tell you this right now. No matter what happens, this Tampa team, they're one of the best teams that has come out. It may be the best team that's come out in recent years in terms of the 2010s and going into the 2020s, because how far has other teams gotten in three-peating? Pittsburgh was beat by this point. So Tampa just keeps on going and just seems like they're not stopping. But, gentlemen, let's kick it to you guys. What do you expect to see between the Rangers and the Lightning here as we get ready for Game 1 tomorrow?
Go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to say, so far, Shesterkin and the Rangers, they've pretty much dominated their matchups in goal. You know, I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, I know Shesterkin did have that lull where he was benched, but, you know, came back strong afterwards. But they faced a third string goalie in both series now, you know. But now they got to face Vazzy, and that's a whole different ballgame. I mean, I like, can Shesterkin match him save for save? Yeah, he's got that talent. He's on that run. But in the end,
Oh,
He froze.
yeah, Robbie froze. Okay.
I mean, that's not a bad face to get frozen on. At least he's not making like a disgusting face.
Yeah, right. So, Brian, since Rob has frozen up here, you want to give your preview of our Eastern Conference Final?
Apparently, apparently the internet didn't like his
Didn't like his opinion
didn't
at
like
all.
his opinion on that one.
oh shit! I got the spinning wheel of death. I didn't hear anything. Was I? Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't just stare. What's that?
You froze.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
So, what were you trying to finish that?
Get my
point there?
opinion out. Finish up, Robbie.
Where did I freeze at?
I don't know.
You froze
Basically, they're facing Vazzy, which is a lot better than a third string goaltender. You know what I mean? So in order to be able to come back in series as they have, that's going to be a lot tougher against a truer test in the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, are you asking for a prediction right now or just an overall synopsis?
You can give an overall, prediction of what you think. If you want to throw in the synopsis, feel free.
I mean,
I'm not against
I'll
either.
I'll say ultimately experience wins out. It's going to be a tough series because, I mean, God damn it, Chris Kreider's playing unbelievable hockey right now. You know, he really found that regular season game, and it's like just kicking in gear along with Zibanejad. And, I mean, this team, you want to talk about a complete team and a young and hungry team, that's been this Rangers club. And, I mean, I'll talk more to the point of what they've accomplished in the playoffs later on in the shootout. But for now, I'm going to go Tampa Bay with experience wins out in 7-game series, back and forth. Tampa Bay gets to the third Cup Finals in a row.
All right, then. Bri, what do you feel?
A lot of anger with this one. More anger than Edmonton getting this far. And I'm pretty pissed off about that. But I Hate the Rangers. I love the roster. I think they're one of the more complete teams in the league from top to bottom. They can hang on the special teams. They a really good transition team, and Chris Carter's having the year of his life. On the other hand, you have Tampa Bay, who's the more experienced team. Again, another complete top to bottom team. They have everything rolling for them right now. They just absolutely manhandled the best team in the league, quite easily, mind you. You have a great goaltending matchup between Igor and. Would Igor be king now? Is it King Igor or is he still Prince?
See, I've been having that debate myself, and I feel like, when would he be crowned as king? And
He's crowned as king now, right? Now that Henrik's out?
I mean, you would think. I mean, if he gets to the, I pray to God he doesn't have it. If he gets to the finals and manages to win a cup, then you have to crown him then. But
I think as long as Henrik's alive, he's the king.
So he won't be at the throne until Henrik is gone.
All right, that's fair. I mean, if we're going by logistics of how royalty goes.
That's true.
All right, that's fair.
It's true. It's hereditary. So
right,
Prince Igor can't have the throne until Henrik's kicked the bucket, which means it'll be after Shesterkin's probably done playing.
Freaking Henrik is Henrik is like, he's only like 39.
Yeah. And obviously and even though he was forced to retire due to a heart condition, he's still in great shape. So at the end of the day, he's probably going to go a while. So it ain't going to be he ain't going to be king anytime soon.
No, man. That heart could be a funny thing.
You really can't ask Kevin Letang.
Terrible.
Jumping back to or you can ask Rich Peverly. Either way, you'll get a good answer from either or.
He looked good on TNT though. He had the nice quaff. He made good analytical points. He was a good commentator there for TNT. But
he's a handsome man too.
Yeah, he's a handsome man.
He's a handsome man.
All right.
So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you got the great goaltending matchup between Vasilevsky and Prince Igor. It's just, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight because you got guys that can be physical. Corey Perry and Patrick Maroon on one side. You can even throw Pierre-Edouard Bellemare into that conversation. You have Ryan Reeves on the other side. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. And as much as I don't want to say it, I think that the Rangers upset in 7.
Wow.
I'm going to say the Rangers upset in 7. Yeah, Tampa Bay has the experience. Tampa Bay is probably the best transition team behind Colorado.
Right.
Rangers, I think the Rangers can hang. I think the Rangers will hang.
To your point, man, a key figure is in doubt right now. I mean, the Lightning's still without Braden Point now. They've shown that, they can still continue to win. But, I mean, going against this Rangers club, that's going to be a little tougher. He didn't practice Tuesday. And right now, his Game 1 status versus the Rangers is in jeopardy. So, I think that's going to be a big difference maker. If Tampa Bay can get back Braden Point, that might put them over the edge. Or if he still remains out, that's a leg up for the Rangers for certain.
Oh, agreed. And if Braden Point comes back for that series at any point, I might have to change my prediction. But right now, I mean, they're still playing lights out hockey without him, and that power play is still rolling without him. Like I said, they just absolutely smoked, and I mean smoked the Florida Panthers. And they were the best team in hockey. They got shut out for the first time all season long in the playoffs. The highest scoring team got just absolutely shut down by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is rolling on all cylinders. So are the Rangers. And the Rangers winning Game 7 against Pittsburgh, winning Game 7 against Carolina, probably one of the more favorite teams to win the Cup.
Well, Nazem Kadri just decided to score and say hello to the Edmonton Oilers. So it's 4-2 now, Colorado.
All right, well, that's my cue to wrap it up. Rangers in 7.
So the goal from Nazem Kadri 4-2 Colorado. And as for my prediction for this particular series in the Eastern Conference Finals, this one, see, I find it to be tough because, I feel like here's my thing about the Lightning. Nothing against, obviously, the Lightning, period. The Lightning, the Lightning, they've done all this amazing stuff. But at the same token, by the way, what's up, Benny? I can't help but feel like the Lightning having that sweep against the Florida Panthers might come back and bite them in the ass. It might. No guarantee, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. Those sweeps can be double-edged swords. You might get a good rest out of it. Maybe this is the rest.
Get a little healthier.
Absolutely. Braden Point, obviously, definitely could enjoy that extra rest that Tampa would be getting. That could happen, and it can charge up your batteries and get you going. However, it could also be where you've been sitting back too long, and you start to wither a little bit, start to get a little rusty. You're not as ready because you didn't get into that, knockout, drag-out slugfest that the Rangers just got out of with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Right.
So it might be one of those things where the Rangers are more ready for this series than the Lightning could be. That's the nature of sweeps. They could come back and bite you in the ass, especially if the other team did not complete their series in a sweep, if they had a tougher road ahead of you. But then again, it might not be the case. And also,
I pick up what you're putting down there, Matty, but at the same breath, dude, Rangers just played 14 games. They played back-to-back 7-game series, and you're going up against a team that's well-rested.
And that's a good point. That's a very good point there. You're going up against a team that didn't have nearly as much, you're going up against a team that hasn't played nearly as much as you have. You might be exhausted. You might be tired, going back to the knockout, drag-out slugfest. You're worn out because you just barely managed to get through that series, and now you got to go up against the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. That's a very good point, so I can't take anything away from that either. That's why, to me, this is a tough series to call. It's way tougher than the Western Conference Finals to call, whereas Edmonton, I feel like they're on a bit of a magic run, whereas Colorado should have been here a couple times by now and have no one but themselves to blame for why they haven't gotten there. So I'm going to say – what were you going to say, Rob?
To interject quickly before you make your prediction, sometimes that inactivity can kill your mojo too. I mean, that we've seen that happen. So
Yep.
I didn't want you to skim over that aspect of it, on the flip side.
Yeah, absolutely. And Edmonton just got a goal, so it is now 4-3.
Damn.
With, I don't know, maybe my prediction of Colorado shutting this down, maybe they don't know what the fuck shutting down means right now because they're having a hard time doing that.
Giffords just lost sight of that puck.
Yeah.
It hit him, and he just didn't know where it went.
Yeah, with a nice, hit it right off him, then a juicy rebound right there. Who scored that? McLeod. Okay.
Yeah, you see his head turns one way and his puck goes the other way.
Yeah, he thinks the puck is right underneath him, I think, because it hits him in that way where they're like, okay, it's got to be underneath me. And no, it's not. But anyway, so like I did with the Western Conference, if this goes the Rangers' way, it's 7 games. If this goes Tampa's way, 6. So I would say Tampa wins it in 6. I think the Rangers can get a couple of wins on them, but because I think Shesterkin will fight real hard, and I think he can get a stolen victory, and I think the Rangers could get a hard-earned victory against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I would say that if Vazzy gets going and he gets into that rhythm, I could still say he can outdo Shesterkin. Nothing against Prince Igor. This will be a great experience for him, if anything. But I would say Tampa wins it in 6. And I did predict Tampa 3-peats, so I'm not changing now. So Tampa wins it in 6. That's how I see this one going.
I do see one game in this series, right, where the Rangers light up Vazzy like a Christmas tree. Like I could just see that happening. The way they just pump 2-3 goals in quick succession. I think you see that at one point because their offense is humming. And I mean, even against one of the best, if not the best goaltender in the world, you know what I mean? Sometimes you could put the biscuit in the basket despite the good play in front of it.
I mean, hell, maybe we'll see it in game 1. I don't know. Maybe Tampa will get
right off the bat going from the slumber. Yeah. If the Rangers come out and put up a strong performance game 1, I might have to reassess my prediction of that series. But
who knows? Maybe Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad, they decide to say, you know what, guys? We're just going to score, we're going to drop a 4 spot on Vazzy. Is that cool with everybody? Everybody okay with that? All right. We're just going to roll with that, guys. Have fun.
Well, I mean, their passing has just been crisp, keeping the head on the swivel. And we saw that against Carolina. I mean, a team that's played great defense all year. You know what I mean? And they made them look like they beat them like a rented mule. Oh, stay hot. Stay hot.
Especially in Game 7.
You're watching the Mets, aren't you?
Oh, man, what a snipe.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I just saw it.
Who that?
Nico Rantanen.
Oh.
Holy shit.
He went, what was it?
Did he go top shelf on that? He had to have gone top shelf.
He went stick side, I know that.
Now, Maddie, you said Nazem Kadri scored earlier, to start off this goal fest right now.
In the second, yeah.
Yeah, I got to, that's been a big difference maker for Colorado. I mean, not only has Kadri come up clutch with some good goaltending, good goal scoring and overall good play, but he's been that polarizing figure for the Avalanche that they needed. You know what I mean? The guy that gets underneath the other team's skin and then delivers and punches them in the mouth with a goal too or whatever. I think Avalanche needed a player like that to step in and step up, and they're getting it in Nazem right now.
Yeah, and then you had Mikko go. He just absolutely roast that wrister.
So it is 5-3 Edmonton. We have had 8 goals, and we're not even halfway through the second period yet.
5 goals in 5 minutes and 3 seconds.
You thought the Battle of Alberta was high scoring. God damn.
And that was high scoring. I believe in game 1 that wound up being like a 9-6 win or something like that.
Do you like 1980s hockey? Oh, Mike Smith lost his helmet, so the play is going to go dead. And I believe they're going to make a penalty call.
Does Mike Smith get pulled in this game for the third period?
I don't think he gets out of the second, honestly.
Wow. Yeah, it's 15-20 left. Mud on.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know that right now. While Edmonton is not really keeping pace anymore, so I wouldn't be surprised.
That was a wonky hit. Yeah, there's no penalty. I don't think there's a penalty called on that. That looked like a fairly clean hit for the most part. It was just wonky against.
Okay, I thought there was because the ref looked like he was doing this. So it's like, wait, he called interference? It looked like he did something like that. But anyway. All right. Benny's Nation saying agreed to the poll if they address the goaltending, obviously referencing Edmonton. Benny's Nation also saying, I think it helps Tampa Bay, especially when Tampa Bay has had the run of games over the past 3 years, no break. True, that break could very well be exactly what the doctor ordered for them after sweeping the Panthers right out of the playoffs. Time not saying, bro, these goalies fucking suck. Benny Celsa says, are we in agreement that whoever wins the East wins the Cup simply based on goaltending with both Colorado and Edmonton? Yeah, based on game 1. Whether it be Tampa or whether it be the Rangers, if their offense is going with these goaltending performances right now, the East is a shoo-in to win.
I mean, I don't agree with it. I think it's Colorado's time because I think despite their goaltending, they clearly have the offense to keep up.
They do.
And I think despite their, like I said, despite their goaltending, they have the offense to keep up. I think if Tampa Bay wins, the East wins the Cup. But I think if the Rangers win, I think Colorado is going to win it. And I don't think Colorado gets out of Oh, I don't think Edmonton's getting out of this round. I'm sorry. Colorado's clearly too much to handle. They just scored again.
Holy shit! Holy shit! It's now 6-3. And is that a deflection or is that Kel McCarr's goal?
No, it looks like it's JP Comfer.
Okay, so it did deflect. All right. What the fuck? Yeah, they're bringing up Koskinen. So, yeah, Smith is going to be yanked. So, Smith getting pulled was definitely correct. And Don saying Kadri running into another goaltender. What a shock. And then Benny's Nation saying another one. Don's like, bro, please stop. Of course, Don being a Red Wings fan, this is just absolute pure torture watching this. Yeah, there we go. I have money on this. Yes, I knew it. I fucking knew it right from the beginning of the show. Don had money on this shit. That's why he was getting so mad.
Don, what'd you bet? Did you take the over-under? Because if you took the under, you're silly.
Yeah. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
That went off of Comfer.
Yeah, right off of Comfort's elbow, it might have been actually.
Second of the night, too.
Yeah. So, there you go, folks. It is now 6-3. Mike Smith tonight had 19 saves on 25 shots, which is not a good night by any stretch of the imagination. Holy shit.
Not a sweep, David, but it's definitely going to be a short series for Colorado.
By the way, what's up, Navo? We were thinking more along the lines of 5 games, me and Bri here. Yeah, let's see. So, okay.
Colorado is just absolutely manhandling them, man. Edmonton is getting zero sustained offensive pressure in this game.
Yeah. Don saying, I took Oilers game 1 like a fucking dummy at $15.
Colorado's going on the power play.
Oh, my God. First penalty of the game, too. And in a fucking parlay, he says. And Benny's also...
Dummy's right.
Roger's shaking his
Why
head
in
like,
the
what
world
the hell
would you
is
freaking
wrong
take
with
Edmonton over Colorado in game 1?
Because
Colorado.
Because he's a Red Wings fan. That's why. His fandom blinded him to that decision. And then Ben goes on to say, are we sure the Phillies bullpen isn't in net for Edmonton? That's a good comment. I like that one.
Phillies tied 3-3 in the 7th, though, I saw.
That hurts my heart there, Benny. That hurts my heart real good.
Navo saying Rangers Avalanche finals. Interesting. And Tom, what's up, Tom?
Thinking. What's up, Tommy? That's kind of what I'm thinking, Navo. It's like I think this Eastern Conference final is going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be a very entertaining matchup between two high-powered teams that are almost complete from top to bottom.
All right, gents. So now that we have taken care of our predictions on the – oh, God, Don. Kim Kardashian is in net because everybody scores easy.
I thought that was what's-her-face, the one who dated Ben Simmons and ruined his career.
Oh, Kendall Jenner.
Kendall Jenner, that's it.
Either way, you're scoring pretty.
She's apparently her experience, we'll call it, is getting around the NBA.
Yeah, that post that we put out about the starting 5 that she's amassed.
Mm-hmm.
They play a lot of D. You know what I mean?
She plays a lot of D.
Her day, all day.
Yep.
All right.
Is it going to be 7-3 here after this power play that Colorado's now on?
Probably. Well, okay, Koskinen's in goal. Let's see what kind of Koskinen we're going to get. Not that Koskinen has been 100% perfect in this.
They call that interference. That was kind of a ticky-tack call.
A bit of light, considering the fact that Nurse was clearly holding a stick off to the side there. So,
Well, they called it on Archibald, and Archibald barely bumped Lehkonen.
Yeah. And let's see here. So, gents, after that we go to our second round review, and that is brought to you by, for the second period, All Campus. And if you ever are down in Ocean City enjoying the shore, it is that time of the year. The weather definitely would tell you to go down to the shore. It's a little humid up here in Jersey, so not a bad time to head on down to Ocean City. Maybe. Might be.
And it's true.
Eileen would say she's down at the beach right now checking us out.
It is hot down here.
Oh, boy, I could imagine being down there in North
95 in
Carolina.
Jersey today.
Yeah.
I don't think we hit 95, but it was hot down here today.
Yeah, I could imagine. But if you're ever
Down
down in
here in
Ocean
Raleigh.
City, check out All Campus. They're giving 20% off of everything in the store, including hats, shirts, to all of their subscribers, to all of our subscribers. So go ahead, check that out. John Coyle runs the ramp booth down there along with the shop, and it's a nice shop, and it's also a great show. So definitely give some love and support down there if you're ever in Ocean City. All right. So, gents, second round reviews to put a nice little pretty bow on top of it. So, we alluded to talking about it earlier. Might as well finish up the Battle of Alberta. It started out, we thought, okay, maybe this will be a close series. Calgary won the first game, then Edmonton won the next. Then we go to Edmonton, and the whole thing changed. The whole thing got turned on its head. Edmonton won both games. They won one game in overtime. They won the other one in regulation before it even got to overtime. Looked like it was going to after Mike Smith gave up that goal that was like 20 miles away from him. And now go to Game 5 in Calgary, and Edmonton decides to win that one. So, by the way, Edmonton did kill off that penalty, so they did something right tonight. Gents, what a strange series that Battle of Alberta was. But hey, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Calgary was usually the team that got fucked in this battle, and it looked like the same thing happened here. What can you say about this series?
Edmonton owned them. They just took advantage of bad goaltending. Markstrom was not who he usually is. He's not the guy that he was all season long, and you know, that line made him pay. You know, that it's simple as that. You know, Calgary they couldn't keep the puck out of the net.
Yeah, a lot of miscues, you know, with guys that were performing well earlier on in the playoffs for Calgary, looking at Johnny Gaudreau, you know, and so on and so forth. It really, you saw them their armor start to crack as the pressure grew, you know, and they got down in that series. And I like I said, I knew Edmonton would go up 3-2, but I had confidence that Calgary going back, you know, I'm sorry, tie it up 2-2, but Calgary going back to the Saddle Dome, you know, where they played so well at home. And that's been a running theme in two of the series in the second round. Teams that predominantly played well at home, not doing so at the worst time.
Yeah, very much. You know, Calgary, Game 5, they had a chance to get back into that series. They just decided, nope, we're just going to take a dive. Bye, guys.
I think they blew their load in Game 1.
Yeah.
Off like 27 goals they had in Game 1.
Pretty much.
And then after that, they were just done.
But I mean, even in that game, a lot of turnovers resulting in Edmonton goals too.
Yeah,
them coughing up the puck.
Especially in the second half of the game when they were, I think they had a little lackadaisical when it was like 6-1, 6-2 or something like that. And somehow Edmonton came back and tied it in the second half of that game. And luckily Edmonton still had enough or Calgary still had enough in the tank to pop 3 more.
Yeah, the warning signs were there in Game 1. Probably should have been addressed at some point in the series. Like, you do realize that you guys had a 6-1 lead at one point, and Edmonton managed to come all the way back and tie the game. Shouldn't there be alarms going off? Yeah, you won the game, but shouldn't you be a little worried about that? Just a little bit? Apparently not. Apparently not. All right. On to Colorado versus St. Louis. What a chippy series. Holy shit. These guys beat the tar out of each other. I mean, Kadri got most of the brunt of it from St. Louis, obviously, for the Bennington stuff. But at the same time, holy hell. I mean, these two teams wanted to hurt each other. It was beyond just wanting to beat each other. They wanted to hurt each other. After what was a wild and crazy 6-game series, Colorado comes out on top in a really crazy game. And after all that was happened, one thing is, I'll say this now, Kadri got pushed into the goalie. I'm just going to say it. He got pushed. There's nothing you can do about it. He didn't on purposely injure Bennington. He didn't take a run at him. He got pushed into the goaltender. It's what this has happened before. Guys who come in real fast, defensemen getting a little aggressive and hitting a player loses control, falls, and hits the goaltender. It's not the player's fault. It's your defenseman's fault. Like, well, you want to get mad at Kadri, get mad at your D-man. He's the fucking moron who hit him, and he hit him right into your goaltender. It's like, not his fault. Like, bro, I can't help it. I can't help it. Bennington's made of glass. What can I say? So
Bennington's a bitch. I heard his press conference about it. He's such a dick. Fuck him. He got what he deserved. He's a piece of shit. He really is. Like, he's a piece of shit person. Like, he needs to go into anger management. He seriously needs to. He's an angry person for no reason. He was like, yeah, I wanted to get his attention, send a message, so I threw a water bottle 2 feet in front of him. You're a fucking professional hockey player. Shit happens. You're an athlete. Shit fucking happens.
Yeah.
Man up and stop being a little bitch about it.
I mean, so he didn't let up. I mean, how many players are going to let up when you're getting pushed towards the goaltender? You know what I mean? It goes to show why, Bennington, has been sporadic in net for them, because he's a head case.
He's absolutely a head case.
Roscoe says he agrees
with you. Not the first time either. That's not his first incident.
Right.
He had the incident, what was it, last year? Where he swung at 2 members of, who was he playing? San Jose, I think it was. He got pulled because he got lit up.
You're right.
And then he took a swing at 2 players?
Yes, he
and
did.
He started running his mouth at the goaltender?
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. That's what I'm saying. He's a bitch. He's a fucking bitch. He's a piece of shit. And he needs to man the hell up and realize that he's playing a professional sport and shit's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like back in the day where goaltenders used to.
I'm fucking fired up. I'm sorry.
No, I got
that
you.
Shit pisses me off.
It's not like back in the day, though, with like Ron Hextall, Billy Smith, where they would swing their paddle at you to, get you out of their way. Like, they were doing it because you're in front of them and you're in front of the porch. And they're like, get the fuck off the porch or I'm going to hit you with my paddle. So that was basically their response to that. Now, Ron, to be fair, love Hexy. Hexy was not afraid, if you scored on him, to whack you. He loved it. But the difference is Hexy did it because Hexy just loved to do it. So there's a difference. Hexy had a temper on him, and he loved to fight. So there's a difference on that one. Bennington's more of, like you were saying, he's just being whiny and crying, and it's just like, bro, you're playing hockey.
Being like unprofessional. Kadri is having a freaking post-game interview, and you threw a bottle at him. An empty water bottle. How childish are you?
That's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's like
you want to know Benny? He's a fucking bitch. He's a soft bitch that needs to man up. He needs to man up. You're playing. You got two guys skating at you real fast. One's yours, one's not. You have to brace yourself for the hit. You have to get ready to get run into. If you don't, you're gonna get hurt, and that's pretty much what happened. I don't blame Kadri for that. There was no intent there. You know when it's intentional and when it's not.
No, you're right. You're right. And he says he's with you on that.
I can't stand him. I hate Jordan Bennington. I hate him as a person.
So
I don't say that about many people. I don't. I hate him as a person.
So the St. Louis Blues eliminated in 6 games by the Colorado Avalanche. Bennington blowing up and being unprofessional. Kadri basically living rent-free in the St. Louis Blues mind. I saw that on YouTube by a couple guys I follow. I was like, yep, that describes it.
Last thing I'm going to say, I love that Kadri had a hat trick in Game 6. I
Yep.
love it. Good for him.
Yep.
He wound up having like 4 or 5 points in the entire game, but I love that he had a hat trick. Good
That's-
for him. I hope he goes on to be the fucking Conn Smythe winner,
That's
regardless if they win or lose.
That's an example of fueling the fire of another player. You never want to do that. That's one of the things that's why guys like you hate guys like Claude Lemieux. But did he not produce in the playoffs? He did. You want to know why? Because he got in your fucking head. Because he would do bullshit plays. He was a bit of a dirty player and he didn't care. But he lived rent free in your mind, didn't he? You hated his fucking guts and you did not want to see him succeed. But when playoff time rolled around, he was scoring that fucking goal every 5 seconds and scoring the clutch goal to win hockey games too. So it's a perfect example of feeding into a player. You never want to do that when you're down in a series. You never want to fuel another player's fire. And then once that happens, Kadri made him pay for it that time. Got a hat trick in that game. That was a huge mistake.
Oh, absolutely huge mistake. You think of more recently Lucic for when he was with Boston. You know what I mean? Having that player is key for the playoff run, and maybe even more so than having that elite goal scorer that Connor McDavid, that Sidney Crosby. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what really matters in the playoffs. Is you're playing a team upwards of 7 times in a row. You got to win the mental battle.
Yeah.
Another home run for the New York Mets. Don't you
Enjoy it while you can, because
You love to say it.
All gonna fall apart.
By the way, folks, if you see Rob's table come up underneath the screen, you'll know why. Because he's just watching the Mets hit home runs after home run, and getting a little excited over there.
Six to midnight, real quick. What's that?
He gives you too much credit. It's not going to get that high.
Oh, all right. So
It's how you use it. It's how you use it.
Exactly. It's the motion of the ocean, not the size of the ship.
Manscaped. Anyway.
Well done, Maddie.
So we go to the East.
I'm more of a Campbell soup type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
It's really funny. One of my bosses at my other job considers himself a tuna can.
Yeah, I was gonna say tuna can.
Nice. Oh, well done. Well done. All right, gents. So on to the East.
Tuna, I'm getting hungry.
And we go to the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. Actually, no. We'll save that for last. Let's go to the Panthers and the Lightning, since that was the much quicker series. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I feel bad for Jumbo Joe, because this is probably going to be his last year. I'd be shocked if he comes back. However, on the other hand, a lot of people I don't really feel bad for Giroux, and I'm going to explain why I don't feel bad for G. He chose to be there. So any kind of bad feeling, I'm sad he didn't win a cup. I'm not sad in the sense of, well, man, we traded him and it looked like that was going to be the right decision. It was more of he kind of wanted to be there. So he made his decision. You know what I mean? He chose to go there. What happened. It sucks, but Giroux did put himself in that position. And anyone who wants to stir the pot and say that Giroux should have gone to the Colorado Avalanche, well, how the hell was Giroux supposed to predict that the Panthers were going to completely fizzle out? Now, listen, I know the President's Trophy curse exists, but maybe the hockey players don't. I mean, most of them probably don't. They're just trying to play the game. So it's okay. It happens. In the end, though, how is he supposed to know that the Panthers were going to completely fizzle out, in that second round against Tampa Bay? And they were like a white flame. They were burning real fast, real bright, but a white flame burns out the fastest, and it's gone before you know it. And that's kind of what happened with the Panthers. They burned bright and they burned fast. They got through Washington. They could not match up against Tampa. Tampa just had their number like they did last year. So It sucks that G and Thornton aren't going to get a cup, but it is what it is. You know.
Their offense just dried up, man. And to your point, I hear you that if say G was just traded to random Stanley Cup contender by his organization, and then that team winds up kicking the bucket early in the playoffs as the Panthers did, then you feel more bad for him because he didn't choose that. But that's where he put all his money on red and it crapped out. You know what I mean? So I get that, and there's a lot of Greg on here. 7.
Oh, another goal for the Colorado Avalanche. Might as well be the Tampa Bay Lightning of the Western Conference right now.
That's a familiar face scoring that goal. That's Andrew Cogliano.
Yeah, good old Cogs doing himself a big favor, getting himself that goal right there.
Good for him. I love Cogs. I still do.
Yeah.
A big surprise that I had in that series was the offense drying up, specifically on the power play. Taking it over. I mean, you can't win in the playoffs when you don't score on your power play. I mean, that's what you fight for. That's what you fight to earn that advantage. And they just did not take care of it with all, to G, a fabulous, power play performer, and amongst, everybody out for Hagee, the list goes on and on with that team. Right. And also too, lack of defense. You know what I mean? That was a big thing that, this team bolstered it with Sherratt and had been playing solid defense towards the end of the regular season and in that first round against the Capitals, and so many gaffes. I mean, Mackenzie Weegar was, the quintessential example, but there was many more than just that one.
Yeah.
Agreed. And with that series, man, it was, like I said, it was extremely one-sided. Tampa Bay might be the most complete team in the NHL, even despite not having Braden Point. But real quick, Damien, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well down there in Australia, my friend.
Absolutely.
And also, Raska, stop it. Zdeno Chara and Joe Thornton are retiring. You better knock that shit off. We're a rebuilding team. Stop it. I'll smack you around.
What?
But yeah, Robbie, to your point, that offense just completely dried up. You had like 4 points between 3 players in that entire series. So that's you don't win hockey games that way. You don't win hockey games getting shut out in the third period. You don't win hockey games going overs on the power play, especially against one of the best penalty killing teams in hockey.
Right. And if it was just Vazzy, you know what I mean, just standing on his head, you're like, all right, well, a hot goaltender. But you're talking lack of quality, like shots on goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like a barrage of shots that Vazzy was saving. They weren't getting quality scoring chances.
Speaking of quality scoring chances, McDavid just had one there.
Yep. Good passing play.
Number 4. Yep. Oh, look at who it was from, too.
Only his
shocker. Leon Draisaitl.
Draisaitl to McDavid. Oilers score. Not even a debate.
Let me show you my surprised face.
Oh, what a surprise face it is. That's the face that screams, I just walked in and saw a beautiful woman in lingerie on my bed.
No, that's a way different face.
Oh. So 7-4, the score is 30 shots on goal for the Avalanche, 21 for the Edmonton Oilers.
And let's be real, that's not happening to me. Somebody's going. Oh, Edmonton's going on the power play too.
Oh,
this is where Colorado could really fuck this series up for themselves, because as much as I hate to say it, Edmonton does have a really good power play, because a lot of their top 6 players, and I will actually name all top 6 players, play on the power play. So you have McDavid, Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jesse Puljujarvi.
Actually, they have Barry out there right now.
Tyson Barry's also on defense.
Yeah.
But that's your top. That's your 6 forwards for your power play. There's a lot of danger on this power play. I'd rather have Zdeno Chara. What? Zdeno Chara is 43 years old, Rosca. He's
Well,
gonna retire. He's
you
not
just-
Put down
gonna
the glue.
help Win a Stanley Cup.
Rosca,
Stop
put
it.
down the bloody glue.
Listen,
Come on, man.
Don't
Just
you want to
nipping it.
trade away? Like Maxime Comtois and Sam Steele,
Matt, stop it.
Trevor
Stop encouraging.
Seager.
Stop encouraging.
He's
Listen, I'm coming up in 2 weeks. I know where you live. Knock it off. Stop encouraging him.
What? I'm not
Stop
encouraging Rosca.
Stop it. Stop it.
Me an enabler? No. All right.
New York.
You guys are on fire tonight, dude. You guys are, even when I've stepped away, I can hear you by Bluetooth. You guys have been on fire tonight. Statements coming out of your mouths.
I'm fired up. Dude, I told you even before Maddie came on. Like, I'm not in the mood to fuck with tonight.
All right, gents. So, Florida and
Makes for
Tampa
good radio.
ultimately.
Or TV. Whatever this is. TV. We'll call it TV. It makes for good TV.
Yes, both.
Both. Yes, exactly.
Dot says Seacrest would look nice next to Raymond.
Yeah, it's the All-Star game.
So
Get together at the All-Star game, but that's probably
it. That's the extent of it. What I will say. So obviously, Panthers flame out against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Eastern Conference Finals for the third year in a row. Oh, and ironically, Tampa is facing a team from New York for the third straight year in an Eastern Conference Final setting. So twice against the Islanders and now against the Rangers. Funny how these things go. And it's also funny how LA faced two New York teams to win their cup. They faced the Devils and then they faced the Rangers, ironically enough. Both sides of a rivalry, ironically enough. Just funny how things play out in the NHL sometimes.
I love the stories. Yeah, the stories.
Pretty sure the Devils are not from New York.
Well, they're not from New York, but they're in the New York area. They're covered by MSG, so a lot of people throw them into the New York market and everything like that. But anyway, so
New York.
I know.
Just like the Giants are from New York.
I know. It's the same thing. All right. Well, I don't know. Do you think the New Jersey Giants have the same ring to it? I don't know. I don't think it does. At least not in my opinion. I don't think it does. But anyway, all right. So
how did that not go in? I thought it was 7-5 there.
Reportedly, New York offered that New Jersey the Jets to call them, the Jersey Jets, and Jersey said no, we're good.
It's like no, we'll take the Giants. We will absolutely not take the Jets.
We're good. We're good with the Devils. We just let the Nets go. We're good. We're good where we are. We only need a 1. It's New Jersey. We don't do much. The Devils are enough.
Oh man, a great defensive play and a great stretch of the pads there from Kemper to avoid a fifth goal going in.
Kemper.
Oh, that's Francouz.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
so.
I did not even
an undisclosed injury.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Oh, that's huge. That's it. I didn't know that. Not watching the game. That's huge. That could be potentially series changing.
I meant to say that, but Rosca got me fired up and threw me off my game there with that curveball he threw.
He's talking about Zdeno Chara.
As a nice segue into back to the Rangers Carolina series, goaltenders and injury problems has been a big storyline in this year's playoffs.
And he's saying
again tonight.
Yeah, and he's saying he's doubtful to return.
Yep, upper body injury of some kind.
Rosca, you said it one more time. I'm getting you booted out of this chat. I'm not serious at all whatsoever, but I'm just saying, just stop it.
Make it so.
He's got the power, not him, but him. He's got the power. He'll boot you.
Will I?
He's not. No, don't actually.
I don't know, Brian. I would love to buy a Ducks Drew jersey. I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Drew's not the. Note, I didn't say anything about not having Claude Giroux.
Right.
It was the Thornton and the
Chara at 44 and Joe at 73.
Yeah, that was where the issue came in.
I'll take all day, every day.
So 11 goals, by the way. 11 goals
through
two periods.
Zegras?
That would be a nice pairing. That'd be a
Oh.
very nice pairing. But 11 goals through
and
2
then you
periods.
got Jacob Perreault coming up soon, who's the natural goal scorer. You want to talk about 6 at midnight? It's a good thing I don't have a table over here. If you see something green popping up, it's not a lightsaber.
not a Luke Skywalker.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, you missed George Takei. Oh my. All right.
All right,
I'm
let's
done
move
with
on.
tonight. I'm over it.
Move on to the. We'll finish up this second round review. Get going here. So, Rangers and Canes, what a series! I would say, even though the Battle of Alberta provided me much laughter and entertainment because of just the sheer fuck up that was both Calgary and Edmonton's defense and goaltending at times, mostly Calgary's. I will say the best series in terms of pure hockey has to be the Canes and has to be the the Rangers. How did I? Jesus, I'm off. Anyway, Rangers and Canes. This was a great series. It went back and forth. It seemed like the Hurricanes had taken control of that series once again by winning at home and pushing to a 3-2 lead going back to the Garden. But the Rangers said, no. That's not how this shit works. When you go to the Garden, your ass gets beat. That's what happens. And that's exactly what they did, going to 5-0 in their building and facing elimination on top of it. Actually, 5-0 facing elimination, which is an impressive feat for them. And then they go to the Game 7, and they take care of business. Actually, no, they went to 5-0 in that Game 7. But still, my point is, great setup. They went to 5-0. That's a franchise record right there. Basically, they walked in and said, hey, Carolina, you think you guys got this series won, don't you, because you won Game 5? Fuck you. Fuck you. You ain't winning shit from this point forward. Then they proceeded to take care of business in Game 6, and then they took care of business in Game 7. And, the absolute collapse of Antti Ranta and poor, was it Kochenkov is their backup goaltender?
I don't even know if Kochenkov was the backup by the end of the series. I think Freddie Anderson was back at one point.
Yeah, either way, tough spot to be put in a Game 7 after Runta kind of had a real rough go of it. And, I felt bad for him. But all the same, Lightning completely fall apart in Game 7. The Rangers win the series. And now they're here in the Eastern Conference Finals getting ready to face Tampa. I said Game 6 was a must-win for not just the Rangers. I said it to a friend of mine. It's not only a must-win for the Rangers, it's a must-win for the Hurricanes. Because the last thing you want to do is give the Rangers life. Because this is the kind of team that'll make you pay for it. So...
Well, it's not even just that, Matty. It's not that you give the Rangers life. You have to figure out a way to win on the road.
Yeah.
Carolina, at any point this playoffs, were winless on the road. They couldn't figure out how to put it together. And, you want to win a Stanley Cup, you got to win on the road.
Yep.
Because you're not always going to have that home ice advantage. If they faced Colorado, they wouldn't have home ice advantage. And let's just say they won the games at home. Mathematically, 7 games. You win 3 games at home, and you wind up losing 3 games on the road. You're probably going to lose Game 4 on the road, and you lose the Stanley Cup in the finals. You have to figure out ways to win on the road. They couldn't. They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't put it together on the road in the playoffs. And you know what? It cost them. It cost them because come Game 7, you let the Rangers right back into the series, and they said, "Yeah, let's go to Carolina and let's finish us." And they did. That first period was all Rangers. All Rangers. They went up 2-0 at the end of 1, and they didn't look back.
Right.
And they just embarrassed Carolina at home in Game 7. Embarrassed them.
Well, Brian, we saw the effects of they got down to their third string goaltender, like I said earlier in the show, second series in a row that the Rangers got down to the opposition's third stringer. Freddie Anderson's got to be a big disappointment. You know what I mean? In terms of, you brought him in here for this, for this very reason at this stage of the game.
and then you have him not even be able to play. You know, I mean, it's out of his hands. I'm not saying it's a fault of his. Injury happens, but just a devastating blow that you thought you were okay with Ante Rana, who had been playing well. And Rana, you know, he too suffered an injury in that game and goes down. And at that point, it was just like lights out. And you have a Carolina Hurricanes team for the first time all playoffs lose at home, which was a big surprise. Another team that, like Calgary, who had been lights out at home, didn't show up in the game 7.
Yeah, and to your point, I don't think it's that Frederik Andersen is a disappointment. I think he is disappointed because I think he wanted to be back for that series against the Rangers. I don't think he ever got to be 100%.
Which is what I meant, you know, that he's got to be disappointed, not disappointing. He had to have been disappointed by not being able to play. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it sucks because you know what? Yeah, Antti Raanta had a really good opening series, and he played really well at home. But you got to figure out ways to put it together on the road if you want to win playoff series. And you know, if you're looking at some of these teams that are still alive, what's the big thing they've done? Winning on the road. Yeah. Winning on the road. I know the Rangers only squeaked out one in that second round, but that's still, that one win on the road makes a difference in that entire series. It really does. And obviously you want to get that road win sooner rather than later. But, you know, that one road victory was the difference in the series, in that series specifically, against the Hurricanes and the Rangers.
Yeah, that was the series clinching victory. So, and in the end, you know, you look back on this, I got to ask you guys, you think if the Hurricanes keep Nedeljkovic, they don't put themselves in this position? You think that it's a better situation, or do you think the same thing plays out?
No, I mean, I think they're better off without Nedeljkovic, to be honest with you. I like Alex Nedeljkovic. I think he's going to be a good goaltender for the Detroit Red Wings in the small window that he has. But I think they were better off with Freddie Andersen. You know, they played really well in front of him. He kind of reemerged his career a little bit, and he played better in Carolina than he did in Toronto, especially the last couple of years with the Maple Leafs. So I think the change of scenery was really good for both goaltenders. I think both were needed, and I think Carolina put themselves in a much better position. And I think Freddie next year is gonna come back, and I think he's gonna be fine. I think Carolina's gonna be right back at the top of the division like they were this year.
All right. So that takes care of our second round review. We had some upsets, and we also had some, kind of saw that coming moments here and there. But now we're in, like we said, the conference finals, and we're having a wild game 1 between the Oilers and the Avalanche that we've had 11 goals through 2 periods. Wherever the Oilers go, craziness follows. It's just bonkers, no matter where the Oilers or whom the Oilers are playing. And we'll see if that continues, if that trend continues as we go further into the Western Conference Finals. Anyway, on to our third period, our Around the League, brought to you by FanUp, which is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. And if you decide to get FanUp, you can actually get yourself a little bit of a bonus, 5,000 bonus points if you use the promo code A2D, which is a $50 value. So instead of spending $50 on 5,000 points, you just use the promo code A2D and you get them for free. It's a nice little deal right there. They are having daily NBA contests. We are getting into the championship, so some big money right there. But of course, there's MLB, NHL, of course, in the conference finals right now. So there's plenty of fantasy sports to go around. So definitely want to get in on that action right there and earn yourself some money, because that's what we want to see you guys do. We want to see you guys prosper. Also, if you want to become a member of A2D, $9.99 a month. Perks include appearances on shows, members-only streams, shout-outs, weekly sports picks from the Money Pop Podcast in Willie Vegas, and especially highlight the Money Pop Podcast in Willie Vegas because they know what they're talking about. And you could go to BetUS or FanUp and make yourself some cash, and you'll get paid to be an A2D member. So a couple things to think about right there. Okay. So around the league news, pretty much nothing super crazy. I know Brad Marchand is going to be out for a while due to an injury. Oh, I'm sorry, cum fungus. It's going to be out for a little while. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. On top of that,
what do you hurt? His pussy? Is that what
probably.
he hurt?
It was that time of the month, and now he's going to be out for several months.
His labia is a little sore, a little swollen.
In the vajayjay?
But besides around the league, we might as well talk about it real quick. The Flyers did interview John Tortorella, and I believe they interviewed Trotz, they did interview Trotz too. Yeah, so it's been a couple of big names that have been thrown around. There's a couple interesting options, gentlemen. Real quick, want to get your opinion on this. What are you thinking right now? What do you feel about the interviewing of Torts and Trotz for the Flyers here?
Bobby,
just doing your due diligence.
I agree. I don't think Torts is the answer. I don't think Trotz is the answer. But, obviously, we're going to figure out what the hell the Flyers are doing or think that they need with this, whoever they hire as a coach. But I think you need to do your due diligence. I think that from what I'm understanding and hearing from up there, it's a lot of things heating up, a lot of rumors heating up about Tortorella's interview. So do I think he's a great hire? No. Do I think he's a bad hire? No. Do I think he's the right guy? Absolutely not. I don't think he's the right guy. I don't think he's going to be the type of guy that gets the best out of these younger guys. Look at what he did with Patrick Laine.
Yeah.
He's a former 40, 50 goal scorer. So I think they need a guy who's going to not just – I don't necessarily think they need a player-friendly coach. I think they need somebody who's a little aggressive, but I think that Tortorella is a little too aggressive. And I think he's going to wind up having guys a little bit more butthurt than, anything else. And I don't think he winds up being that guy. But I think whoever they land, they need to – and I know I've realized that the term of a NHL head coach is roughly 2 to 3 years, but I think they need to hang on to a coach and go through multiple years with him, 4 or 5, maybe even 6. Get these kids developed. Get a good coach who's good at developing young talent and develop these kids. Stick with the system. Stop the coaching carousel. Let these guys develop. Stop switching up the system on them every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and I'm all on the ball game of let's get. See, I'm not a massive fan of Torts being the coach, and I'm not really big on Trotz. And the only reason why I'm not big on them for the Flyers is because, in my opinion, Torts, his coaching, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's aging. It ages like milk. This ain't the 80s and this ain't the 90s. So it might have been a little bit different ball game if we're going back then. But it's a different era. And on top of that as well, Torts I feel like is a win. Trotz I feel like is more of a win now coach because he gets a lot out of guys. But I think look at the Islanders. The Islanders weren't really doing anything until he showed up, and then all of a sudden, it took the 1 year for them to adjust, and then after that they had 2 unbelievable seasons. Had a bit of a bad year this year, and then he got fired unceremoniously. But Trotz is known for that. Trotz is known for getting a lot out of teams that are not necessarily the best in the world. Now, that might suggest that he'd be perfect for the Flyers. But here's my argument against that. I feel like this team needs to really take their time with these young pups. Not try to go for don't shoot for the cup immediately. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. That's the mentality I feel like the Flyers will take if they hire Trotz. Like, well, you see what he did with the Islanders. Maybe he could do better with the Flyers. Like, that may not be exactly what we need right now. I'm more of along the lines, let's get a coach that's good at developing new talent. I'm more interested in that right at this point. I don't give a shit about, let's go for the playoffs. So if we get to the playoffs, great. It's a cherry on top of the cake. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about These young players we got. And getting Konechny back to where he needs to be, getting Provy back to where he needs to be. That's another couple of big objectives. Then the pups of Tippett. I want to see if Tippett's got what it takes to be a major player on this team since we traded Giroux for him, for one thing. Secondly, on top of it, I want to see what Farabee can do with a coach that really helps foster his talent and builds him up. I also want to see what Allison can do with that kind of coaching. That's the kind of coach I really want to go for, a guy who's really great with young, up-and-coming players. Maybe the veterans will be butthurt, but I don't give a fuck. It's like, I don't care. You get paid plenty of money. I don't give a shit. You didn't want the job. You should have fucking left. Simple as that. I'm more worried about let's get these young players ready to go. That's what I want to see. I want to see a coach who fosters that more so than say, let's go for the gold now. Like, no. Let's take the time. Let's build up these pups. We already have good players on this team. Let's get good depth on this team. And if you build up these young players, you might have that going forward. Something that a lot of these playoff teams have that you might want, because when you go to the playoffs, you'll face teams like that, and you want the depth or you're fucked right before you even get going. So that's the kind of coach I'm looking for. Not a win-now coach, and not a coach that's going to piss people off in the locker room every 5 minutes and cause more problems than solve. That's my personal take on the options that we're looking at right now. That's where I would look towards.
Yeah,
Go vanilla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to go vanilla here. I mean, you have to, because your priority right now should be rebuilding this franchise, even if it doesn't mean going through a full rebuild. Even if it means going through a full retool, you got to rebuild. And the way to rebuild is to figure out a way to develop talent. I just don't think Tortorella and Torts or Trotz are the two guys that are really good at doing it, especially at this point. Because I'm with you, Matty. I think Trotz is the guy you bring in to win now.
Yeah.
I think he's going to Vegas. I really do. I think Vegas will eventually interview him, and he's either going to wind up there or he's going to wind up in Dallas. Those are going to be the two destinations for Barry Trotz.
Not bad choices.
And well, yeah, I mean, you got two perennial. Shouldn't say perennial. Two potential cup contenders there. After going from Washington to win one to the Islanders, where he almost won one, and then just the team crapped out on him. So I think he's going to go right for a win now team.
Yeah. Plus, what's more alluring to him as a coach right now? What job would you want? A team that has up and coming guys, a new Jack Eichel on the team, or our slot?
Right. No, that's a great point, because it's true, because that's kind of what I was saying in one of the Flyers groups last week. I'm like, well, what do you think he wants to do? Do you think he wants to go through a rebuild? Do you think he wants to go to a team that's going to compete for another Stanley Cup? Because Lord knows how much longer he has left. He's not a young guy by any stretch of the imagination. He's not a young guy. He does not have much left. He's going to go to a team that wants to win now. And it's going to be, what did I say? Somebody else threw out
Vegas
Dallas.
or Dallas.
Was a great. No. Because I said in the comments, somebody else threw out Dallas, and I thought that was a great suggestion, because I think that's a good fit for him as well. I think I said there, Winnipeg, or one other place, but it wound up Vegas was obviously like my number one choice for him, and it still is. But
damn, Brian,
it's true.
He's not even 60 years old. You have 1 foot in the grave.
Barry Trotz isn't even 60 years old.
He's 59.
Well, I mean,
I was surprised too. I thought I would have pegged him more
Really?
for like
That's
72.
I was thinking more in like mid 60s.
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, though,
I didn't realize he was that
It
young.
was a hard knock life in the Trotz household.
but
like
no,
I said earlier in the show, wrong about everything.
Yeah, but Trotz at the end of the day, though, still win now coach. Flyers are not. They should not be in win now mode. They actually shouldn't even be playing with that idea right now. Focus on your young talent. Let's build them up. Let's go for a coach who's going to foster that. It's not focus on, we got to get back to the playoffs. No. If we get to the playoffs, great. I don't care. I'd rather be more interested in seeing these young players turn into something special. And if that manages to get us over the hump and we get in, okay, I'm fine with that. That means we legitimately got there, and the young players had a lot to do with it, not just the veterans, and we were able to actually get there as a team and with a system that promotes the youth and helps build them back up and get that confidence going and get a little bit of a swagger going for them. That's what I'd like to see. If we can pull it off that way, fine. If we get there by sheer dumb luck, then we're a first round out, and why the fuck did we even bother trying in the first place? You know? That's what I'd rather see. I'd rather see that happen than the latter.
See, I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't be upset though if they got to the playoffs next year and had a first round out. Especially considering where they were last year and how things ended. I think that's huge. What's up, Wills?
What's up,
I think
Wilson?
that'd be actually a really good thing for this, especially the younger players. I think that's a boost of morale.
Well, that's
getting there.
That's fine and all. I want to see it happen in a good way. I don't want to see it happen as, well, we overly relied on one or two players and they had great seasons, and there weren't young players either. They were veteran players. The guys there, it's like, great. So we got to the playoffs, we got beat in the first round, and the youth didn't progress any further. They're still stuck in neutral. That's not what I want to see, and I'm worried that if we hire the wrong coach, that's what we're going to see. We're going to still see the young pups in neutral. And that's not that. Like, I don't care if we make the playoffs. Then it's like, yeah, we made the playoffs, but the young pups are still in neutral. What the fuck, you know? Like, we're still doing the same bullshit we did 2-3 years ago. You know, we don't want to fall back into those old habits. That's the only thing I'm worried about. You know,
listen, I don't disagree. I think the focus needs to be not on wins and losses. It needs to be on player development. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm with you. But like I said, if they wind up winning enough hockey games to get them back to the playoffs, I'm not upset about it. And I think that's a victory for the Flyers, and I think that's a victory for the young guys, and that's something that you can definitely build off of, and it's a good sign for this team moving forward.
Mm.
It means this team really isn't as bad as they thought.
Ted calling for a 7-7 overtime game. I can see it, man. 3-goal lead is not safe in the Western Conference.
No, I mean he brings up a great point, but I don't know if Colorado maintains that pressure, this game is way over.
Truth.
All right, guys. So we're done with our around the league. Time to wrap this pupper up, and we go to overtime, and that's
We're
our
already in
shootout
overtime,
segment.
Maddie. Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B.
That's what we're doing.
Hit the box.
We're going to OT, and we're going to finish this up. Head to the shootout. Dr. Paul Vidal, specialized physical therapy. If you ever need to take care of any aches and pains you got, like these guys are feeling right now. By the way, Edmonton just scored. Speaking of Ted saying this game's not over, it's 5-7 now. And
boy.
God,
Oh boy.
Wrong about everything. I'm telling you, the universe hates me.
Specialized physical therapy, you can make an appointment with them there, and I believe that was Ryan who scored that goal, and Burakovsky looks hurt.
I'll see you guys.
Specialized physical therapy. You can make an appointment with them online, and then you can see them at Burlington or Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Take care of any aches and pains you got. Bry did use them when he was feeling problems with his shoulder, and yeah, he went to see them, and it's never been better.
I'm gonna have to go see them about my ego. Maybe they can help me with that.
Massage it.
It's feeling quite sore right now.
All right.
Everything I've said tonight, everything I've said tonight has been the fucking opposite. I'm gonna go see Dr. Paul about that when I come up there in 2 weeks.
Ted's saying, I don't think that helps anything. Ted said, it told you.
Yeah, but to your defense, Brian, though, you cannot be playing well. You could be leading the pressure, and still the opposition scores on you in the Western Conference. Like, goals don't equate to good play necessarily. I know, as weird as that sounds.
I mean, he didn't say that. He didn't say anything about good play. He just said the game's not over.
That's true.
Clearly, Ted was right, and I'm wrong. Ted, you can take my spot on the show.
All right.
I'm retired.
Let's do this real quick, guys.
Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you. I'm out.
That's his Oprah moment. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Continuing the half-baked references.
You. Just tell me. You don't got to go on the mic, B. Damn.
Damn.
All right. So, hot take, real quick. Let's do this.
I got one.
Sure.
The NHL playoffs are 1,000 times better than the NBA playoffs.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, that's
a
yeah.
straight fact.
Yeah, that is straight facts right there.
All right, okay. Probably not a hot take for the show and its audience. I get it. So I'll level up and say ESPN and TNT's coverage of the NHL playoffs is 1,000% better than NBC's was.
Okay, that's
Okay.
definitely a hot take. I'll go with you on that one. I like it.
But I will say, we also created a place here at HUD that had, comparing the NBA playoffs to the NHL playoffs, and the NHL playoff picture was a bunch of guys up and cheering or whatever. The
Yep.
NBA playoffs was 3 guys just sitting on the couch.
I loved it. You love to see it.
You
You
do
love to see it.
You do love to see it.
Not that I'm an NBA hater, but I'm sick of NHL or hockey in general being called the 5th major.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Come playoff time, that
It's
helps
all about
the
how
fans.
you perform as a league come playoff time, right? That
Mm-hmm.
puts you up in those rankings, I would say. The biggest money gardening time of the respective sports.
And what's crazy is the best team isn't always crowned champion. It's the hottest team. So you could be the best
True.
team
True.
in the NHL. And sorry, boys, I'm tired. You could be the best team in the NHL and still not win a cup. And we've seen that multiple times over the last couple of years. And let's be real. Since Chicago did it, we haven't had the best team win the Stanley Cup until Tampa Bay did it a couple of years ago. So,
Ted, I get it. ESPN, in terms of compare, I'm just saying them collectively together this year better than NBC or what have you. I'll give it to you. Like TNT has a better panel. I love their intermission. Like that panel really breaks down the game a little better than Steve Levy and Messier and whatever schmuck they have in between them. Oh yeah, Chelios.
I was going to say your favorite schmuck.
Yeah. But I like in-game coverage for ESPN has been nice because that's what they've done well for years. You know what I mean? And like in terms of getting you access to the games, live cover, like look-ins for keeping up with other games concurrently. The broadcast teams themselves. I love Brian Boucher over at ESPN. You know what I mean? So I think there's some things that ESPN's bringing to the table too that overall collectively was better than NBC Sports, and we were nervous about this year. It was new, you know what I mean? But we've been okay, you know what I mean? We all got Hulu or the package or whatever, and we were fine. We survived.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little.
I'm dead on the inside, not the outside.
And then Don. Hot take. Mike Smith will only allow 1 goal in the next game. That is definitely a hot take right there.
You know what's
That's
funny?
a good one.
Me and Don are similar here on our hot takes here. I'm just going to take it a step further because this one I'd be fine being wrong about. Mike Smith has a shutout in game 2.
Oh,
There you go. There's a hot take for you. All right. My hot take.
Are sniffing from the same hooker's butt crack right now.
Are you sniffing coke or are you just sniffing the crack?
What, dude? What else are you sniffing off for hooker's butt crack?
Listen. There are plenty of weird shit out there that people get into. I was just saying. Oh man. All right, so
you can fuck yourself. He's the both Avs win by 8 next game.
all right, so for me, I'm going to say hot take for me.
Man to me like I slept with his mother or something. Jesus, what is going on?
hey now. Stifler's
Listen.
mom. What?
There's nothing to
What's
talk
up,
about,
bro? Like,
Don.
why you hate me anymore? Why don't you love me no more, man? I never slept with your sister. Why are you mad? Why you have to be mad? It's just a game. Nah, I love you, Don. Seriously though.
All right. Ted, earlier in the show, we gave our predictions for Tampa and Rangers. I chose Tampa, Rob chose Tampa, and Bri chose Rangers.
Yeah.
All right, on
This
to
What words are you putting in my mouth, Matthew?
you chose Tampa in that series, did you not?
I did. Oh, I thought you said
Okay.
that I picked the Rangers. I was going to be
No. Bri picked the Rangers.
I picked the Rangers, yeah. Roscoe, I
So-
know we're talking about you. Just kidding. Roscoe,
All right,
you're
so
all right. You're all right,
my-
my boy.
My hot take will be that one of the teams will stupidly touch their respective conference title and fuck their chances of winning the Stanley Cup. Because it just seems like a team's going to do it this year. It's like, you know what? We don't believe in superstition. We're going to touch either the bowl or the Prince of Wales trophy and screw themselves over.
Didn't Tampa Bay touch it last year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, not superstitious. So I could see it totally happening. But watch it backfire this time when they shouldn't have. They got a little greedy there. And now the hockey guys are like, oh, you want to get greedy now? Okay, fuck you. You're getting swept in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's how the hockey gods are. They're cruel. Anyway.
Not for Tampa. They give Tampa Bay whatever the hell they want. They must have signed a deal with the devil or something. Jesus Christ.
Which means after this dynasty's over, like they're going to be shit for like 20 years. But anyway.
Oh, what a save by Koskinen there on freaking Kushkin.
One last one, boys, before we leave. Biggest disappointment in the second round, and we'll wrap this pucker up.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, I already said Carolina before. You know what I mean? Losing at home and Freddie not getting healthy. So I'll go with another one, I guess, in a sense, just coming from the Philadelphia perspective. Biggest disappointment was seeing another series comeback for the New York Rangers. I mean, the Rangers are only the fourth team in NHL history to come back from two-game deficits in the same playoffs, being down 3-1 to the Pens and 2-0. You know, people forget that Hurricanes jumped off to a 2-0 series lead in this and lost in 7 games. So pretty remarkable. It does show that there truly is no quit in NY, but fuck them motherfuckers. Disappointing.
Biggest
Sorry,
disappointment. Biggest disappointment. I got to go with Ted on this one. It's got to be the Florida Panthers, and that offense just going completely stagnant in the second round against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay just did everything in their power to shut them down, and they did. They did. I mean, Barkov, nowhere to be found. Jonathan Huberdeau, nowhere to be found. Claude Giroux had one point in that series. You know, Aaron Ekblad, nowhere to be found. Radko Gudas, nowhere to be found. That entire team, I guess, never came back from. I don't even remember who they played in the first round. I don't even remember who the hell they played in the first round.
Who? Panthers?
Yeah,
Washington.
you're right. They never came back from DC. They
Yeah,
never did.
Truth.
They stayed
Yeah.
in there. They stayed there because when they came back, the offense was gone. Not game one. Tampa Bay just absolutely schooled them, and they went shell shocked. And like an old man, when his PP gets a little too old, just doesn't work anymore. That's what the offense was. An old man's PP just didn't work.
She touched my Pepe, Steve.
She touched my PP, Steve.
So
I like pizza.
yes. Multiplicity. Nice call.
Dude, it's a great movie. That's a very underestimated movie.
It really is.
So
So
for me,
underappreciated. If you haven't seen it, you have to see that movie.
all right.
Especially
There's
if
a
you're a
lot.
Michael Keaton fan. Andy McDowell, I love her in that movie.
I'll have to add that to the tab that I've been running of movies I need to see.
Yes.
So I will say for my biggest disappointment, honestly, I was thinking about putting Edmonton and Calgary here, but honestly, no, because they really weren't a disappointment. I got a lot of enjoyment of watching them both fuck up multiple times in that series. That was really enjoyable, to be honest with you. But I would say the most disappointing for me would definitely be the Hurricanes. I mean, this was a team that was pegged to be a serious contender for the Cup, and they completely collapsed in Game 7. And they disappointed all around. And, yeah, they won in the first round. But like you said, Bri, couldn't win on the road. And special teams didn't help them either. You know, it's just one of those things of, it's a very disappointing end. And it's the third year in a row that the Canes have gotten eliminated in the second round. So they really do need to think about long and hard what the fuck is wrong. What is this bugaboo with this second round? they need to figure it the fuck out, because you don't want to turn into the new Washington Capitals, where you can get out of the first round, but you can't win a second round to save your sorry ass.
Maybe Carolina and Rod Brindamore should part ways, and he comes back home.
I'm with you on that one, Don.
Maybe.
That was disappointing.
I'm just as bad as Holmgren with bringing back Flyers. I really am.
Then Roska
No,
saying,
but to also jump on to what you were saying there, Matty. Like, I know you guys are saying the Canes are the biggest disappointment, and they were a legit contender for the Cup. They were one of the best defensive teams. They were a top 3 in defense all season long. But I think, just to say that, neither one of you guys picked the Panthers is crazy, because they were the best team in the NHL. They were the best offense in the NHL. They were the best essentially at everything all season long. And you get to the second round and it all comes to a screeching halt.
Here's my reasoning. President's Trophy. The moment they won it, I knew they were fucked. It was going to happen at some point, and it happened here. And also, I think it also says a lot about the Panthers that they're not built for the playoffs for some reason. They got to figure out what are they not built for properly in the playoffs. They need to fix that now.
Well, here's the thing, though. They showed up in that Washington series. That Washington series, they were there. That offense was there. They scored goals. They hit the second round, and it just came to a screeching halt.
All even strength goals, not a lot. Their power play was struggling in that series.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That's fair. Touche. However, that also comes back to the just all in all, like 5-on-5. Like, yeah, I agree. You got to score power play goals to win hockey games. You got to with the Canes, you got to win home games or road games. You have to win on the road.
Yeah,
but when your offense, like the Panthers, just went completely cold in the second round,
they got ousted. They got ousted so quick that I was thinking that was like 2 weeks ago. I was thinking more recency disappointment bias.
Ted saying,
do a while ago.
Do you guys think that the Panthers firing Coach Q derailed their Cup chances? They went away with what was working for I don't really think so.
They didn't fire him. He stepped down now amidst the controversy. It did not be a problem.
Andrew Burnett came in and he did a really good job of keeping things going and flowing. The second round was the first time they got shut out all season long.
Yeah, I would honestly, I would say we probably would still see the same thing play out. I mean, Tampa being Tampa, Vazzy woke up in Game 7, and then it's just like, oh shit, Toronto just had to poke the fucking bear. They couldn't leave fucking alone. They couldn't just get eliminated. They had to poke the fucking bear and wake Vazzy up, and now shit's about to go wrong. It's going sideways for everybody. Anyway.
Well, also on the same breath, I don't necessarily think they woke the bear, because Vazzy came up big in that Washington series in a bunch of games, but I think the Panthers' biggest issue, and which allowed Tampa Bay to really take advantage in this entire series, was they couldn't stay out of the box.
That too.
Too many dumb penalties. Mackenzie Weegar's emotions got the best of him in Game 1, and that cost him Game 1, and they just couldn't stay out of the box from there. So that put Florida at the disadvantage, a major disadvantage at that, going up against the best power play in hockey.
Yeah. Just
Braden Point, and still smoked them.
It was a fail all around. It was a fail all around for the Florida Panthers. A team effort fail. All right, gentlemen. Time to send this one home. We thank everybody for joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. It is 7-5 still, with about 8 minutes left to go in the third period. And, only 2 goals away. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen in this one? So we'll see. And a penalty just got called for holding. So, anyway, we thank everybody for joining us. We hope to see you guys next time right here on the Hockey Happy Hour. We thank you as always, Ted, Don, Roska, everybody. We love you guys. We love the fam. You guys make this what it is. And if you want to support us and you want to support A2D, Bri, where can they go to get their official A2D merchandise?
Head on over to phillydrinkers.com. That's Philly Drinkers LLC. Those guys are great over there. Alex does a great job of, getting you great quality stuff over there. T-shirts, show shirts, novel T-shirts. mugs, hats, all kinds of great stuff over there. Check them out. It's Philly Drinkers LLC. Head over to phillydrinkers.com. Get all your ATG merch over there.
Absolutely. All right, then.
The answer to that, Don, is yes.
Oh. And also, if you're ever in the Levittown area and you want to get yourself a quick bite to eat, Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Ave, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order when you dine in, take out, or order online at gleasonsbarandsteaks.com. And our show sponsor, of course, our show sponsor, it used to be that, but it's actually Manscaped. Manscaped, 20% off, A2D code, upgrade your life. What do the ladies not like?
Junk funk.
Absolutely. So 20% off, free shipping with the A2D code at manscaped.com. Throw out your old hygiene habits, upgrade your life, Manscaped. Feel good about yourself. That's the key. All right, guys, we'll see you next week right here on the Hockey Happy Hour. We'll see if the conference finals are finished by that point, and we have a Stanley Cup Finals ready to get going. We'll find out next week. Until then, guys, you stay safe, you stay healthy out there. Peace and love, everyone.